The process that I took began with researching what 8-bit music was and how the original sounds were created. To give you an example of what 8-bit sounds like, here is the Trololo song as a chiptune cover, which is also known as 8-bit style. Once I found out what type of waveforms were used to create 8-bit sounds, I decided I would try and replicate the sounds using Ableton Live, which is a digital audio workstation that I own. However, the research on 8-bit music continued throughout the entire process. I then selected a song that I wanted to convert into an 8-bit format. I chose the song Der Doppelganger by Franz Schubert, sorry about the pronunciation. I then exported the file as a Type 1 MIDI. So I went into File, Export, and then you go down to MIDI. And Type 1, this will allow you to have two separate files rather than consolidate the piano and vocal part as one file if it's a Type 1. So I hit Export, sent it to the desktop, and then all I had to do was click and drag this into Ableton Live, and it gave me the vocal part and the piano part. So here's the MIDI data, what it now looks like as a vocal part, and here's what the piano part now looks like. I chose to use Sibelius for this project only because I'm very fast at writing on Sibelius. I could have simply input all the notes using the piano roll, or simply plugging in a MIDI keyboard and performing it into it and recording that. Now, once I have the MIDI data inside the digital audio workstation, you just drag a synthesizer on top of it. In this case, this one's titled Operator. And then I just change the waveform. So right now it's set to a regular sine wave. I want to change it to a sine 8-bit, so it will slightly change the sound. Here's what it sounds like. Now I'm going to change that to a saw as an 8-bit saw. Here's what the saw looks like. Okay, so now a square. Here's what the square looks like. Triangle. And then turn this down. Here's white noise. After I experimented with Operator, I tried a different synthesizer. This one's called Analog, so I just clicked and dragged it onto the piano again. Now this one allows for two oscillators, meaning it will generate two different sounds. I'm going to go ahead and turn the second one off for the moment. And I'm going to set this to sine wave. So here's what it sounds like. It's slightly different. Now here's what the sawtooth sounds like. And square. Now, if I want, I can actually change it using an ADSR, the Attack, Decay, Sustain, Release. So this allows you to control various aspects of it. Right now it's signed to the pitch, so if I change this, I can have it swoop up and down. I can make it shorter, or I can have it go up. Now if I add another oscillator, it will play two different sounds simultaneously. Now the reason why I wanted to have two different parts, one for piano and one for voice, is let's say I wanted to keep this as analog, however for the voice I wanted to go back to Operator. And I wanted to make this an 8-bit, let's go with saw wave. Okay, so I could play both parts at the same time. And using the ADSR or other various aspects involved with the synthesizer, I could shape the sound however I want to, or I could change the volume, which is the things down here, also known as the velocity in a DAW. Now, after I found out how to use Operator and Analog to create 8-bit sounds with any song that I created, I tried showing somebody else how to do it. However, they didn't have the suite version, which means that they didn't actually have Operator or Analog with Ableton. So I had to find some other ways to work around this. So I looked into VSTs, which are virtual studio technologies, and they're basically plugins that allow you to synthesize sounds using downloaded VSTs online. So one of them that I found is called Chip Sounds, and all you do is you download it off of their website, and you just click and drag it into your DAW. And again, I'm using Ableton. So I click and drag it onto the piano part, and it brings up a new window. Now in this window, it has a bunch of different options on here, which we're not going to worry about at the moment, but it basically allows you to customize your sound. So here's what it sounds like right now. Now I can change this to a preset. Let's try blip. So completely changes the sound. I can go in and change what type of chip I want.